Shettima ought to be in jail to pay for the blood of innocent citizens and the deprivation that lawful Nigerians have suffered from his private army. Nigerians must reject Shettima and his gang because Bob Marley sang, "No one can free us but ourselves."
Yes, my people, as it dey hot, it don't happen. They say if breeze blow, fowl yarns go open. And they say if they stay for glass house, make you mad the way you dey throw stone. Now breeze don't blow. Shettima yarns are open. Now they don't accuse Shettima to be the leader of Boko Haram. Make I not talk too much. My Britain family, please make I share this video. Share this video and comment your opinion because today I go reply comment today. Make una comment una opinion whether na him be or not be him be. But before then, make una watch this video and please share this video.
Senator Dino melaye issued a statement where he took Shettima to the cleaners. And that thing that people are scared of saying, people are being civil to say, he said it. Dino melaye wrote, and I quote, "Overwhelmed by the conviviality of a civil atmosphere, Kashim Shettima, the grand commander of bandits and the running mate of the presidential candidate of the APC, who has gathered enough fund from his field soldiers to be so intoxicated as to engage in a verbal gibberish that is only permissible in Sambisa forest. He has been seen in a footage where he was exciting a rented crowd with whimsical pot slots at His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. It was the same hallucination that made Shettima to have defined an illusionary presidency where he would create an office for Boko Haram in the villa, with him in charge of the security of our precious Nigeria. The emergence of the garrulous, intemperate, and indecorate Shettima is another manifestation of the failure of APC, which after weeks of shilly-shally to fill the slots of a running mate, ultimately settled for a rustic jejune whose concept of a suit is the sartorial equivalence of barbarigan. Shettima ought to be in jail to pay for the blood of innocent citizens and the deprivation that lawful Nigerians have suffered from his private army. Nigerians must reject Shettima and his gang because Bob Marley sang, "No one can free us but ourselves." Now, what Dino melaye did was to bring to focus the alleged link between Kashim Shettima and Boko Haram. Now, because of his own uncut language, Dino melaye has now put him on the defensive. Nigerians are now going to wait for him to defend himself. Perhaps people have been shying away from talking about Boko Haram as it relates to the former governor of Borno State, under whose leadership Boko Haram overran many local governments in that state. Now, that issue will become on the front burner. Even those who are ready to vote for Tinubu, many of them will think twice now before casting their vote, because they will need some clarity. So what Nigerians expect now from Kashim Shettima is to respond to Dino melaye, to counter him on what he said about his link as commander of the bandits. So it is what you get by not addressing issues, and you are addressing personalities. And now even the issue of Boko Haram is supposed to be an issue on its own. How did this country end up with the problem of Boko Haram? What is at the root of it? Why is it that it has not gone away for so many years now? And what can the new leadership coming up in 2023 do to stamp it out totally from the country? Unwittingly, Kashim Shettima has brought it to the front burner through Dino melaye because of what Kashim Shettima, said about Atiku Abubakar. If he had maintained his campaign civil, perhaps the PDP would have been civil and not bring up the issue of Boko Haram into the discussion. And what we have now, the person that has come out to defend Kashim Shettima is one of the spokesperson of APC and former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode. And Femi Fani-Kayode, as you all know, is seen as a rabble-rouser, but he also is somebody who makes some points. There are some of his points that are factual, that are verifiable, but even himself by now will be feeling embarrassed on what he said about people that he's not working for. Because if you go to Google now and check, Fani-Kayode that is defending Shettima from melaye's linking of the former governor with Boko Haram, you see what Fani-Kayode have said about Shettima and Boko Haram. And that was when Fani-Kayode was on the other side, when he was in PDP. So that's why nobody will pay any attention to whatever defense that Fani-Kayode is now mounting for Shettima, saying that Shettima is not a commander of bandits. But that's job is now there for Shettima himself to address this issue. And this is what he brought upon himself by the kind of language he used against other people. You can see what he said about Vice President Yemi Osibanjo. You can see what he said about Peter Obi, that he cannot be president of Nigeria, he can only be president of Igbo land. That alone is enough for the law to take care of him under the Electoral Act, because he was trying to bring ethnicity into the issue. Peter Obi is a bona fide Nigerian and he has a right to seek for the highest office in the land. Nobody can tell him that he can only be president of Igbo land. Nobody should tell him that. But that was exactly what Kashim Shettima did. Of course, he was condemned by even his fellow Northerners, because they know that it was unfair and unjust, provocative, and a bigoted statement that he made. And now, because of what he said about Atiku Abubakar, PDP has now linked him with Boko Haram, that he wants to establish an office for Boko Haram in the presidential villa if they win. So the ball is now in the court of Kashim Shettima to defend himself. He has now been put on the defensive. Nigerians are waiting to hear his defense from what the APC, what the PDP has alleged that it was his agenda, or it is his agenda, that he would do in the villa. If for any reason Nigerians, despite everything they are passing through, still return APC to the presidential villa in 2023. But we know that Nigerians are reasonable people. If this election is free and fair, there's no way APC will win. So while we wait for Kashim Shettima to respond to Melaye's allegation, because Nigerians would like to get clarification. The relationship between the vice presidential candidate of APC and the bandits. We need clarification. Nigerians will need clarification. We need to be told that it was not true, that Melaye lied. That is what we want to hear. And we want to hear the evidence why we should not believe Dino Melaye. And we want to hear it from the horse's mouth and not from Femi Fani-Kayode and other spokespersons. Because when Shettima spoke, he spoke by himself. He didn't speak through a proxy. So all eyes on him now. All eyes are on him now to respond to Dino Melaye, who spoke on behalf of Atiku Abubakar. And that is a lesson for our politicians, that when you are in glass house, don't throw stones. And if you want to be a leader, address the issues. Show the world how you are better than the rest, how you are better than your opponents. Don't take personal attacks. Don't take back on personal attacks on your opponents, because you never know what they will come against you. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell.